The average adult spends 2.5 hours every day online telling everyone how to change the world. Why not earn $100? Come on over to burningwoodenleg.com. Young or old, rich or poor, Trump-tard, libtard, whatever your persuasion, we want to hear from you at burningwoodenleg.com. I used to work for two judges, retired federal Judge Brian Carter and Judge Pro Tem Frank Wright, two lawyers who helped straighten out a wild teenage kid with two machine gun charges by the time I was 19 years old. The old saying, no convictions thanks to good lawyers, applies, and these two judges had a $10,000 bet going that I would not straighten out. Frank thought I would, but Brian wanted me fired, and because I buried myself in college studying computer science so I could develop the time billing system for the law office, and later systems for hospitals, Brian lost the bet, and instead of paying off, he didn't just seal my records, he had them all pulled, and today I have a spotless criminal record. I've held security clearances for banks, hospitals, nuclear facilities, and military bases, and served as a notary public, and developed a reputation for honesty. I just can't stand a liar. Many of the cases I worked on involved battered women and molested children, or seniors being stalked, for example, by someone trying to steal their home by gaslighting them or even murdering them. I also worked in clinics with violent males, violent mentally challenged teens, battered women, molested kids, recovering drug addicts, and alcoholics. And so I spent a lot of time listening to people lie or fantasize about reality and trying to help crazy people find some sanity. Certainly, we can all agree there's a lot of insanity in the world today. Later, I was in charge of videotaping depositions, and between that and my field work, I got pretty good at spotting people who are lying or hiding something, and then I'd do the field research and figure out what it was they were hiding. Back before Microsoft even existed, I invented the first artificial intelligence case management system for the legal industry. I based it on chess and moving every actor in a case to the correct square, and then bang, checkmate. 20 years later, I developed an artificial intelligence, quantum computing encryption, and attack detection patent. And for 40 years, I wrote software for hospitals, the nuclear industry, banks, telephone companies, and Fortune 500 firms. My specialty is fixing systems their staff couldn't. Many of my clients made billions of dollars off of my work. For example, the University of Phoenix tripled in size from 7 to 21 campuses in under 3 years, using the classroom system and sales and marketing and finance system I developed for them. Mission Industries, the largest laundry service in the world with clients such as Disney, went from 65 plants worldwide to over 200 in 2 years, and they sold for over $1 billion. Fasciola Meats in Silicon Valley was a $60 million company when I showed up, and sold to Cisco for a few $1 billion a few years later. I was able to achieve these results by going in and honestly analyzing a company's balance sheet, spending time in each department, and instead of worrying about whether or not people liked me, I'd draft an honest assessment of the performance of each department and then design the system that would make them more profitable and more effective. I wasn't always the most popular guy, but sometimes you have to break a few eggs to make a good omelet. Over the years, I also developed national plans for heads of state of foreign nations and the United Nations, and I was invited to speak before the United Nations General Assembly on a white paper I drafted entitled, How to Accelerate the Transition to Renewable Energy by Making It More Profitable. Anyone paying attention today knows our planet is literally on fire, and extinction is at our door. If we don't move quickly, all life, including humans, will be extinct in well under a decade, perhaps just a few years. This may seem like hyperbole, but if you visit Greta Thunberg's main website and take the class and pass the simple pop quiz there, then you will have the knowledge to understand what I just said is true based on NASA and NOAA data. If you're a scientist who disagrees with me, I invite you to come online or send me your podcast and explain your position. Certainly, humanity could benefit from our debate about what's required to make this a happy, healthy planet again, and ensure we do dodge extinction. In these podcasts, we won't just be covering the crimes of humanity, large corporations, and politicians all around the world. We'll be looking at solutions nations and communities can deploy so that we might reverse course and avoid extinction. Currently, our odds of avoiding extinction are less than 1%, and if Trump is reelected, it's quite possible we won't even survive until 2025. That may be a shocking statement, but it explains why suicide rates are up, along with depression and anxiety, especially among our youth. And so I'm asking each of you to call in and vent your frustration. Tell the world what's bugging you. And if you've got some great idea on how to change the world for the better, I want to hear it. I want you to think of this podcast like your therapy session, where you get to listen to other people speaking your mind and take a moment and record your thoughts and send in your MP3 audio file for broadcast. To make this even more interesting, and because I do value your ideas, you can even earn $100 with your 3-minute rant. The rules are at burningwoodenleg.com, and I hope you enjoy what you hear from our listeners.